Hello and welcome back to On the Break. Nico has returned. Adam Gase is gone. Mike is back again. First off, I just want to get this going. Nico, welcome back to the show. I'll start with you. How are you doing?
Good. How are you guys? It's good to be back.
We've been vibing. We've been making videos. We're out here,
Yeah,
You know what's going on. But I know you're having a great time.
I am.
Adam Gase is no longer the head coach of the New York Jets. Yes, this channel, this podcast, whatever you want to call it, I think is the biggest collection, or a great collection, I'll say, of Adam Gase haters. We all hate Adam Gase here. I think the entire NFL hates Adam Gase. Even Adam Gase probably hates Adam Gase for the way he's coached the New York Jets, and he's fired after a 9-32 record with the team, ruining Sam Darnold, a USC legend. I don't know if he's officially ruined yet. We're going to find out. We're going to get into it all. But, Nico, I want to give you the floor because you're the Jets fan here, for those who don't know. And I want your reaction to, when you finally found out this is over. This pain is over. I'm finally out of the ninth circle of hell, which is having Adam Gase, my head football coach. How are you feeling?
It's good. We finally got rid of the guy that basically none of us wanted. 2 years ago when they hired him, we all wanted somebody else. It was Matt Rule, it was Mike McCarthy. But, we knew what we were getting. We saw it, and the Jets fell for his Peyton Manning, Peyton Manning interview with, Peyton Manning called, Peyton Manning loves him, Nick Saban loves him, this guy loves him, that guy loves him. It turns out that he went 9-23 with a bottom-feeding offense, 15 points per game in 2020, 17 points per game in 2019. That's bottom of the NFL. You can't do that in today's NFL. And our quarterback went from, our franchise guy to now we might be drafting a new one. And he never really got along with any of the players. He drove out Jamal Adams. He drove out all our homegrown talent. He used Frank Gore like nobody's business at 37 years old. He didn't want to use young players this year like LaMichael Pirine. And, the team took a step back. But Christopher Johnson stepped up. He fired him. And the team's looking to take a step forward. So, it's a good day to be a Jets fan. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a good day to get out of the circle of hell. But, now we got to look for a new coach again. But, Gase is gone. And I don't know if he gets another NFL job. Seems like Saban wants him back in Alabama. I don't know why, but thank God he's away from New York. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, that's all that really matters right now for the Jets and for the NFL. Any team, if you see your team is interested in Adam Gase, I suggest you jump ship, especially if it's for a head coaching job, maybe a coordinator job. But I think he's pretty ruined up to this point. He's the former coach of the Dolphins, and once he leaves, you see Devontae Parker, boom. He was unable to use Le'Veon Bell. He didn't know how to use him and ruined that player as well. And Mike, I just want to get your thoughts on this firing as well.
Well, Jets fans couldn't be happier. As Nico, he seems to be very happy, at least at peace at this time. Because with the last episodes, he seemed very tense, very on edge. But now he seems more calmer, which is great. Because right now they got a big rock off their back, which is great too. Because it's sad what happened with Sam Darnold too. Because when you look at their stats, his QBR rating has never been over 46, and also too. You could put as much blame as you want on a quarterback, but it also goes to coaching too. Because Adam Gase and also this front office before Joe Douglas came in, didn't even put a lot for Sam Darnold to really work with. You got Le'Veon Bell, but when he's the only fixture on that offense, there's only so much you can do with just one running back. And this year they thought they had a lot of weapons with Perryman, who's a huge drop machine. He's so wildly inconsistent on the offense. You got Crowder. Crowder's a decent slot receiver, but he's going to keep on aging and aging. He's not like a special receiver. I wouldn't say he's a true number one. And who else do you have on this offense other than this Denzel Mims, which is really Adam Gase is kind of like the worst coach to develop a rookie receiver under. And it's good to see because, I know the Jets are trying to look like around the NFL. I heard they're I don't know what they're trying to do interviews with. I know they're trying to maybe look college, which could be an option. Maybe Jim Harbaugh, because I know Jim Harbaugh wants to come back to the NFL because his time in Michigan is coming to a close. But honestly, people are saying that they want to train Sam Darnold. What I think like they should do is surround him with more weapons and try to trade up or like trade down in this draft just to get more capital or maybe just more weapons for Sam Darnold to work with. I mean, Frank Gore is getting older. Perrine seems decent. I haven't seen much from him yet. I want to see more from him. But I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, the Jets just got to find a coach that will just work for everybody. They need to find a coach that will definitely take control of this locker room, unlike Adam Gase, like which Nico highlighted. They lost Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams like trashed them online too. I haven't heard of a lot of teams where players trash their own coach online. That is just not a way to just that is just like the wrong direction for a franchise going forward. I mean, good thing you got them out. I mean, Joe Douglas got some great capital with Jamal Adams because Jamal Adams in Seattle struggled at the beginning of the season, but now he's kind of assimilating in the defense now. And he got draft capital with Leonard Williams. He got a third-round pick for a defensive lineman that was just leaving the organization. So Jets just got a great future ahead of him. Just deciding what coach will work best for this team, especially a player's coach, because Adam Gase was nowhere near that. He was just a very inept coach.
Yeah, you have to start, looking at the roster now, and you have to pick a coach that will fit well with that roster. And that decision comes with, are you drafting a quarterback by the name of Justin Fields, or are you going to stick with Sam Darnold, who has been inconsistent but has shown plenty of promise throughout his young career, and he's still young. This guy came out of USC and was a legend. Now, okay. When Jets fans hear USC quarterbacks and legends, they think of Mark Sanchez, and that obviously did not work, okay?
No.
So it might be the better move to start fresh. You're starting with a new head coach. I want to get into more who's going to be the next head coach of the New York Jets and where they go from here. Adam Gase does not deserve more than 5 minutes of our time, and he didn't get it. So here we go. You pick a guy like Justin Fields. You get Eric Bieniemy, who's a quarterback guru, coming up. And you start to build, throughout the rest of the draft, or maybe you do trade down, you get a Trey Lance or a Zach Wilson, and you can build that interior line that the Jets need. I mean, I'm not the biggest Braxton Berrios hater. I mean, the Jets have talent at receiver. I think they need a true number one going forward. We'll see what free agency entails. But they have a lot of great number twos and threes and slot guys that they can put in there. Their defense has been stepping up. Their defensive line needs about probably just one edge rusher to complete, and they'll have a great defensive line.
I agree with that.
The secondary and all that, linebacker core, everything. The defense, I think, needs plenty of improvement, but that D-line is a great place to start. And when you build football teams, you build from the ball outward. And the Jets are continuing to do that. But, they don't really need tackles as bad as they need interior linemen going forward. But if you trade down in the draft, maybe you get a quarterback, maybe you don't. Okay, maybe you draft Penny Sewell for crying out loud. Who knows, right? But if you're going to pick a head coach of the New York Jets, I think it's Eric Bieniemy. I think he's probably going to be the best head coaching candidate that's going to be available this year. Is there any other guys you may have in mind, or where do you think that this Jets team should go in direction of head coach or even just roster?
Bieniemy is definitely in my top five. I would say anybody in my top five I would be completely okay with. I like Brian Daboll from the Buffalo Bills. I like Arthur Smith from the Tennessee Titans. I'm obviously a big guy on Harbaugh. And my fifth, I would definitely go – I actually think that Campbell from Iowa State might be a good option, but Bieniemy would definitely be in my five. I don't really have a preference on defensive or offensive minded. I think that we need a coach that's a leader. We need a coach that's going to be, like Joe Douglas said, a CEO type, a coach that's going to unite the locker room, not divide it. And we need a coach that is going to be able to develop a quarterback that you draft. The past 10 years, 15 years, the Jets have gotten these quarterbacks in the top five, like Sanchez, like Darnold, and they've put bad coaching around them, like the Todd Bowles, like the Adam Gases, and even Rex Ryan's. And they have not been able to properly develop a young franchise quarterback. They don't really build around the young franchise quarterback the right way when you don't have to pay them. And as big of a Darnold guy as I am, I do believe it might be time to move on. You could probably get a second-round pick for him. A lot of teams like him. San Francisco teams, West Coast offense teams like him. So I think if you can get a second-round pick for him, you definitely trade him, and you go after Zach Wilson or Justin Fields or maybe even a Trey Lance, whoever that. But the thing is, you have to let that coach – whoever that coach wants I think that's the guy you have to go with.
Yeah.
If you want someone, you have to stick with your guy. I do believe that if you trade back, you could probably slide back a couple slots and get Zach Wilson, because I think Atlanta would take Justin Fields because he's a Georgia guy. Now, the only thing is I don't know what Miami would do. Are they going to stick with Tua? Will they not take a quarterback? So the Jets have to figure that out. But I do think it could be time to move on from Darnold. I think that for the betterment of both sides, I think it's time to move on. Darnold needs to go somewhere else. The Jets probably need to move somewhere else. But, yeah, Bieniemy would be in my top 5. Harbaugh, Arthur Smith, Brian Dable, and probably Campbell from Iowa State.
Yeah, I love Matt Campbell. I mean, I follow Oklahoma. I'm a big Oklahoma
and also
guy.
Pat Fitzgerald would probably slide maybe 6. I like Pat Fitzgerald. Okay. I think he could be maybe good. But those are the 5. Those would be my 5.
I like that 5. That's a good 5 to have for the Jets. All of them would be good candidates, and I wouldn't be mad at either one if I was a Jets fan. Iowa State beat Oklahoma this year. Matt Campbell's the head coach of Iowa State, for those who haven't heard of the guy. He is probably one of the better leaders as a head coach in college football. We talked about, that this team needs a leader at head coach that Adam Gase could not be. Who knows if Campbell even leaves Iowa State in the first place. I also like how nobody said Lincoln Riley, because everybody knows he's not leaving. Riley is not leaving.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I am tired of that talk. I'm tired of people saying, we'll hire Lincoln Riley. No, you're not hiring Lincoln Riley. He's going to go win a national championship in a few years in Oklahoma. Then we'll talk. Okay. But Mike, is there any head coach in specific that you think the Jets are going to hire that maybe we haven't mentioned? Who knows? What do you got? Maybe they'll take Doug Peterson away from you for once.
Well, I mean, at this point, who knows with the Eagles, but we're talking about the Jets, so let's get into that. So I'm not really familiar too much with college football, so my expertise in that area won't be really needed. So I would say Jim Harbaugh. I've looked into him, definitely coming back to NFL. I think he's a guy that takes charge in a franchise. He's a guy that's a big leader in the locker room. Big reason why Colin Kaepernick had a lot of success with the 49ers, and that 49ers defense was very stout as it is. He's a very I like to say he's a very balanced coach. He's not too offensively minded, too defensively minded. He's just kind of a balanced middle of everything. And also talking about Sam Darnold too. I think it could be about time for Sam Darnold to go, because he's already about to enter his 4th year into the NFL, if I'm not wrong. And at this point, you can't really be kept in limbo about whether this franchise or whether the next head coach will work for him or not. So I would say it is time for him to go. Maybe, like Nico said, maybe try to get a 2nd-round pick, a 3rd round. But I think a 2nd or 3rd-round pick will probably be the range that you would get for him. Maybe a 2nd and a 4th. That's what I would think maybe. But also, too, to address, because there's more issues to the Jets than just quarterback. I think they definitely need to build in the trenches. They've done a good job by drafting Becton. Becton wasn't that bad. He played a solid rookie season, not terrible. And they need to draft a lot of interior. They need to draft more interior defensive linemen, since they traded away that guy. I think his name was Steve something.
Steve McClendon.
Yeah, they traded him away, and he was more than darn happy to leave New York. And he went to Tampa. So, and also they definitely need to get more cap space, because I think they need to address the secondary too, because Pierre Desir has turned out to be a garbage cornerback this season. He played god awful. I thought he was a very underrated signing, but God, was I wrong. This guy got beat on every single route. Literally, I could put my grandma on him, and my grandma would probably outrun him, maybe even outboss him or something like that. But also, Bradley McDougald turns out doesn't seem like a great fit in that secondary. He struggled a lot in coverage this season. But that's what I'm saying. They have a lot of more issues to address. This is a rebuild franchise. They need a coach that's a leader, someone who takes charge. They need someone there for the long haul, not somebody to get fired after 2 seasons, not somebody like Adam Gase that's going to lose control again. So let's see what the Jets can brew this offseason. I'm really excited to see what they can do. And I really am really high on Joe Douglas, too. I'm really liking what he's doing with that draft capital.
Yeah, I think he's going to keep building it.
Yeah, and just for the note, I don't think Joe Brady would be a good option for this team. I just don't. I know everyone's like Joe Brady, Carolina, big-time offense, next McVay. I don't believe Brady would be good for the Jets. And I don't think
they're actually interviewing with him. I don't know if they are.
Yeah, but if I know a lot of Jet fans are saying, Brady would be a good option. He's a young offensive mind, new quarterback. Yeah, you got to get somebody who's got leadership.
Let's hope that the Jets aren't as idiotic as the Chargers. Someone who fires Anthony Lynn and now looking to hire Jason Garrett as their head coach. How idiotic you have to be. I thought Atlanta was the most idiotic franchise. Now the Chargers are about to break through as the most idiotic franchise if they hire Jason Garrett. And
this is why when they finally matched up, it was the most beautiful harmony I ever witnessed in my life. But I want to see Sam Darnold in one of these hats.
I wouldn't mind. I would
months.
not mind. And I can tell you that I think we've seen in the past that I know everyone's like, well, how are you going to get a second for Sam? You will. I really do believe you will. Because teams are willing to overpay for quarterbacks. It's just the way it is. Josh Rosen acquired a second and a fifth after his garbage rookie season. Teams are good, especially a guy like Sam who's 23 years old, who has a lot of talent in the bag. He needs a good coach like a Frank Reich, and I think that teams are going to overpay for quarterbacks. If you get a quarterback like Sam in the second round, you're not going to go out and try to trade up in the first round and get a Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, even Kyle Trask from Florida.
Yeah, and also, too, Frank Reich is also West Coast offense, and look what he did with a lot of these quarterbacks. Look what he did with Phillip Rivers. Like, Phillip Rivers is at the end of – way at the tail end of his prime, and he still didn't do half bad for someone who's 37, 38 years old right now.
Guy went 11-5 and made the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. And also with Sam Darnold, you could definitely get draft capital over him because he's still a very young quarterback. He's shown a lot of flashes before. Really like this tape. Even though the stats may not show, but also you got to take in consideration what's been around him. Not really much if you think about it, you know?
Yeah, I'm going San Francisco, Pittsburgh, and the Indianapolis, obviously.
I like those options. I think those are the best options.
I think San Francisco might be the best option for Sam right now.
If they can avoid the injury bug, that is.
Yeah. Jimmy Garoppolo, that great quarterback.
Mr. Inconsistent, although they did make the Super Bowl with the guy, that was defense. The defense did that for him. Sometimes quarterbacks just go on a tear, hence Eli Manning for all my Giants fans, That's I put them in a pretty similar category. But anything else you guys really have to add about this Jets team? I think we've covered pretty much all of our bases here.
Yeah, well, I just want to finish off that that the Jets are. I do believe that they are going to get this coaching chores right. I know this sounds crazy, but they did say Joe Douglas is going to be leading the charge. He's going to be leading the search. He's going to have the final say, which I think is the best option. And he also did come out and say that whoever the coach is, he will not be picking his assistants, his staff, that the coach will have full control. And the Jets are changing their power structure in how they report. They're going coach to GM to owner instead of head coach to owner, GM to owner. So I do think Christopher Johnson is finally admitting to his mistakes, and he's learning from them. And I do think the Jets are going to make the right choice.
Accountability goes a long way with the Jets.
That it does, and hopefully they, do learn from their mistakes. It's about 50 years of mistakes, but, if the Jets can come with a winning season, then all that is washed away, especially if Joe Douglas in maybe 6 years can get this team a Super Bowl ring. That might be a bit of a lofty goal considering the Jets' luck and history, but hey, it's always hopeful. We're always hopeful in this life, okay? The Jets need some kind of hope. And any kind of hope, whether it's Justin Fields, whether it's Eric Bieniemy, whether it's Jim Harbaugh somehow not signing a deal at Michigan. Maybe Lincoln Riley, but that's maybe a little too much, obviously. Anyway, thank you all for watching On the Break. Hopefully the Jets find a way to find their way in this league. I doubt it, but if they make the right decision, they will. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. This is On the Break. Thank you to Nico and Mike for coming on the show. I'm John McCooch, alongside Nico Federico and Michael Trinidad. We will see you all later. Thank you.